Hey guys, how are you? Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world, depending on what time zone you're in. My name is Joni. I am the founder of Seek and Sip Travel. And as always, it is Sunday evening, 6 p.m. And we are here for our weekly show, The Perfect Sip. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to come on in, get yourself settled, get your wine glass out. Today, it's just me and it's you. So I thought I'd do something a little different today. I would save our guests for another time. And today I want to just talk to you guys. I want to vibe with you for a little bit. So I'm going to turn the comments on so I can see you. Pardon me. And I want to talk to you guys. I want to get to know you. If you have any questions, type them in the comment box so I can see them. So I'm using StreamYard and I can't see your names, but I see your questions. So I think you guys have to click the link to say, yes, you can use my name or something like that. It should be at the top of the broadcast. If not, just put your name in the box and then I'll know who I'm talking to. So at any rate, hi, how y'all doing? So we're doing a very informal show today. We don't have any special guests today. Like I said, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of just get to know you a little bit, just vibe with you guys. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to taste wine and give you a couple tips on how to develop your palate. So just a little bit about me for you guys who are new here. My name is Joni. I'm the founder of Seek and Sip Travel. Every week, 6 p.m. on Facebook Live, we used to do a travel show. Well, because we are all locked in, we can't go anywhere. We're on punishment. Can't watch anything. We can't go anywhere. So our passports are pretty much in our drawers for right now. So what I'm gonna do instead, I'm gonna bring the countries to you. So each week I take you on a journey to a particular country. I have a special guest with me. We talk about wine, we talk about spirits, we make cocktails on camera, and we have a really good time. You also have a point of reference if you ever want somebody was just like, I want a bottle of the last one you posted, the Gavi. Okay, so that's actually what I'm going to finish drinking today. Sorry. So every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're here and we're here to have a good time. So let's get into it, guys. How are you guys doing? Are you enjoying your Sunday? Give you guys a couple minutes. So someone mentioned the wine from yesterday. I'm not sure who it was. I can't see your names, but basically this is a wine. It's an Italian wine. It's an Italian white wine. It's very light body. It's by Villa Sparina. So Villa Sparina is it's a resort actually in Italy in the Piedmont area. The Gavi is a Gavi wine. It's a varietal, meaning that it's a grape and it's very light bodied, very refreshing. And I would definitely suggest that you serve this pretty chill. I think this wine is perfect for someone if you're having company over, you're going to do salads, you want to do a light, easy pasta. Even if you just want to like snack on some bread, some extra virgin olive oil. I like to put a little Parmesan cheese in mine. I might put a little red pepper in mine, but no red pepper. Cheese, definitely. The EVOO, definitely. I would do with this one. I like this wine. This is one of my special finds from Costco. So if you guys follow me on Facebook, or Instagram, I'm always finding these little special treats from Costco. And so this is one, I believe retail, this wine is about $18-20. I actually bought it in Costco for about $12-13. So it's a summertime sip for sure. So if you go to Costco, take a look, grab a bottle or two and put it in your own wine fridge. So you can have for your company that comes over. So let's get into it. Tasting wine. Let me put you in two categories. For wine novices or baby wine sippers, like I like to call you, wine tasting isn't as deep. But for the pros, the people who are going for certification, if you're a som, if you're an educator for wine, If you're a buyer, if you're a retail buyer, if you're a vineyard manager or a winery manager, your taste and palate is going to be a lot more important to you than your casual sipper. But regardless of where you stand, you should have a pretty decent technique for sipping wine. And I'm going to share those points with you today. So you got 4 points for the most part. You're going to use your eyes, or you're going to use your eyes to see the wine. You're going to use your nose to smell. You're going to use your mouth to taste and also feel. And we're going to talk about that. And then I say your fourth one is like your brain. So you're going to evaluate whether or not you like this wine and whether or not you would purchase it again. So what I mean is this, couple things you're going to need. You need your bottle of wine, of course. You're going to need your wine glass. You're going to need a sheet of white paper or a white paper towel or a towel. If you're in a restaurant, feel free to use the white cloth napkin. That's if you're somewhere fancy, darling. You're going to use that. And I'm going to share with you why you're going to use that. You definitely, guys, you need a corkscrew. Now, if you're going to hang with me, you're going to learn how to use a waiter's corkscrew. I know a lot of you guys may use the electric ones. You may use the angel wings. And it's nothing wrong with those. I'm not going to judge you, but the further you go in wine and the more you're drinking, you should learn how to use these little gadgets. So maybe one day I'll do a show kind of showing you how to use these. But this is my handy trusty. See, it has a really pretty mother of pearl handle. I love these. I give these out as gifts to clients as well. And I keep them. Like I travel with one, I put it in my suitcase. Only the check ones, because if you put it in your carry-on, they will take it because it has a blade on there and it's pretty sharp to see. So yeah, so those are the pretty much the things you're going to need. And then what else you're going to need is a nice cleansed palate. So tip number 1, if you know that you're going to be tasting wine, do not brush your teeth. Toothpaste, mouthwash, breath mints, gum, they ruin your palate and it changes the taste of the wine. So if you know that you're going for a wine tasting, try not to brush your teeth. Give it a couple hours so the mint really goes away. No gum, no breath mints. You want to have a nice cleansed palate. Okay. Also coffee drinks, anything really sweet, anything really sour. Don't try to avoid those. So if you're going wine tasting, you want a nice even palate. Water is your best friend. Okay. So when you get your wine, first thing you're going to do, of course, you're going to pour your wine in your glass and not too much, because what you want to do is if you're going to swirl, you want to make sure that you have enough room so that the wine doesn't spill out. But before you swirl, you're going to take your napkin. You're going to take a look here. So this is a professional tip, guys. If you are a baby sipper or a novice, I really don't expect you to do this, but I think you should practice. The reason why you're putting it against the white. So if you see here, see how like if I do it this way, you really don't get much. Like you can see that it's kind of yellow and it's clear. But if you put it against the towel, see how the color changes? It's a lot more brighter. So you can really tell if it's some gold in this wine, which it is. What color is it? Is it pale yellow? Is it medium yellow? Is it dark gold? Is it dark yellow? Even with the reds. So really with the reds, when you start drinking, when you start sipping a red wine and you're tasting, you may get a ruby red. You may get an inky purple, like a deep purple. Like some of your Merlots will have those colors. You may have a garnet, so that has like a little reddish brown to it. And so you really wouldn't be able to know unless you put it against something white so you can tell. So this wine right here, this Gavi, basically, I'm looking at it. It's clear. It's yellow. It's not translucent. Translucent is really kind of close to watercolors. That will give you a very light bodied white wine. But this one has a little bit of gold to it. So we're going to take all of that into account. You're going to put your towel down, come here. I think you should sniff before you begin to swirl. The reason why you want to do that, Wine has many layers of notes. So your first note, if you smell, I'm getting some lemon, and it's something acidic. It's something tart. So it's definitely lemon. But now if I go in and I swirl, what you're doing when you swirl, you're actually activating those molecules in the glass. You're kind of creating this confusion. They're colliding against each other. So now all of those molecules are coming up. And then when you put your nose here, you're going to smell a lot more. Give it a minute. So do a sniff, sit for a while, let your brain process that. Number 2 tip, and here's a secret. Unless you're professionally tasting wine, and it's like a blind tasting, if you will, no answer is really wrong. It's whatever you feel it is. Now, true enough, some terroirs or regions where wine or vineyards are, they do have a particular essence to them, or they have these particular notes that are characteristic of the region. That's true. However, everybody's palate is different. Everybody's sense of smell and of taste and of touch and sight is different. So never feel bad if you say a note and no one agrees with it. Don't feel bad about it. It just means that you pulled something out, or maybe you did make a mistake. Either way it goes, it's all good. I promise you, out of 3 notes, you're going to get at least 2 of them correct. So we're going to swirl, and then we're going to smell. So when I smell this, I'm definitely getting the lemon. So yesterday when I opened this wine, I got a lot of it was something acidic, and I felt like it smelled like acetone. You know, the ladies when we go get our nails done and they take the polish off, or we soak our gel nails off. That's what I felt like it smelled like. But today I don't get the acetone as much, and it's probably just because I drank a little bit of it yesterday. So it's had some time to oxidize in this bottle. All of this is air. Even with the cork in, it still has some time to oxidize. So it's probably why it doesn't smell like that today. But anyway, here we go. So when you're getting ready to actually take a taste, remember you're going to start off with a very clean palate. And then remember too, when you sip, you want to do a technique that allows you to aerate the wine in your mouth. So it's slurping. So actually when you go, when I go overseas, when I've traveled to Italy, when I've traveled to France, especially in Italy, people are slurping all over the place when you're at wine tastings and things like that. And also what you'll probably see is a spittoon or spit bucket. The purpose of the spit bucket is when you're at a professional tasting, you don't want to drink all the wine because you don't want to be drunk. So you want to sip it, spit it out, sit with it on your palate, let your tongue, let your cheeks, everything absorb the wine. So then your brain begins to process the notes. Then you can go back in and take additional sip after you've kind of gotten your primary notes off of your palate first. So here we go. So it definitely tastes different than it did yesterday. Yesterday, when I opened this wine, I immediately got a lot of pear. It was a very complex white wine. To be so light-bodied, I found it very complex. Yesterday, when I tasted the wine, I've got pear on there, a little bit of green apple, but not much. There was an almond essence to it as well. I don't remember everything I got yesterday. I got a little bit of like underripe pineapples. You know how you go to the store, you don't get the really golden pineapples. Those are the ripe ones. But if you eat like the inside of the pineapple, or you choose like the wrong batch, it's a little underripe. I got a lot of that yesterday as well. Today, though, because it's oxidized some, it's still very good. I just don't get all of the complexity that I got yesterday. So, Yeah. It's still very good. I would still drink this today, and I'm going to. And even if I didn't, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share another technique to do, another tip, if you will, what to do with your wine when you don't want to sip it anymore. So now this is the fourth stage. I'm sitting here, I'm evaluating it. The wine is on my palate, and I'm thinking about it. Here's another tip. So this is a pro tasting technique. If I take a sip of this wine, this is what I'm going to do. At this point, I usually would spit it out. What I did was swished it. So I made sure that it coated the front part of my mouth where my teeth are, and I sent it to my cheeks as well. You know how you get a pickle, and you see the pickle is on the counter, and you want it, so you start salivating. So remember the little tightness that happens over in here? Those are salivary glands activating. They're all in your mouth, but here over here on the side, it's kind of characteristics of like a puckering, if you will. So on the sides here, when you get that little pucker, or if you get a little dryness over here, usually that's where you would, those are where your tannins would kind of, you would hit, the tannins would hit right here. In the front of your mouth though, and on your tongue as well, if it dries out, that's how you're going to measure acidity. So acidity in the wine is one of the natural ways that wine preserves itself, along with the skins, along with the stems. But the acidity in a white wine actually kind of keeps it from going bad as well. You will lose some of the complexity. So now the acidity is a little bit higher than it was yesterday. But some of the complexity is gone, but it's still pretty good. So the acidity is right here, and I would say it's low to medium acidity because it's not really dried out in the front of my mouth. And I get nothing, little to very nothing on the sides. So what that tells me is, number one, it's probably just natural tannins from the stems and from the grape skins, but it didn't have any oak. So when you put the wine in a barrel and you age it, the oak kind of opens up. It's like, it's very porous. So remember, when you put water on wood, what happens? The wood expands, right? Same thing with the wine barrel. So the wine barrel, the wood in the wine barrel kind of opens up a little bit. The wine kind of leaches a little bit into the oak barrels, and the oak barrel kind of gives its essence. So it's kind of like this exchange that happens when wine is being preserved in a barrel. And in the process of that, the wine, the oak barrel, or whichever, French oak, American oak, and it doesn't even have to be oak, but I digress. We'll talk about that another time. But what happens is the oak begins to leach. So then you get the tannins, and then it's aging the wine. It's giving the wine some other little characteristics like caramel, vanilla, butterscotch. You may get some smoke. You may get like tobacco. Those are all kind of notes that you'll get from the barrel. So when I don't get that from a wine, it's kind of like it kind of indicates to me that the wine didn't spend any time in the barrel. And in fact, that's one of the techniques for Gavi. They don't age it in oak. They actually age it in stainless steel stainless steel vats. I'm sorry. So this wine doesn't touch any oak at all. So like I said before, I've sat with the wine. I'm evaluating it. I like it. That's the number one important thing. The number one important thing about wine is whether you like it or not, especially as a baby sipper or a wine enthusiast. If you're not a pro, I wouldn't necessarily worry about always getting it right. The main thing for you guys is whether you like it or not. So if you like it, continue drinking it. And if you don't, we're going to do something else with it. So guys, have any questions so far? Someone said it's good information. Hey, well, hey, thank you very much. Thank you for the compliments. Someone says there's relaxing. It's Tiff. Hey, Tiffany. Someone says they're relaxing on this Sunday. Yes, it was storming here earlier, guys. So it was. I didn't even want to get up. I don't think it stopped raining until about 2, almost 3 o'clock, and finally the sun came out. But It was just like the perfect rainy day when it's dark and it's cool in the house and you just want to lay around and chill out. So that's what it was doing here. What are you guys sipping on? Talk to me. Let me know what you're sipping on. So while you guys are typing in the comments and Facebook is sending it back to me, because y'all know Facebook is slow, I'm going to go back through those. So number one, you are going to see, you're going to use your eyes, you're going to see the wine. So you're evaluating for color. You're also looking to see if there's any sediment in the wine. So what is sediment? Sediment is just it's kind of like the byproduct, if you will. So when a winemaker makes wine, when they pour it out, you know how like if you don't dilute like your water, your lemon, like if you're making lemonade, like Old Country Time, and you're making lemonade and you have some still left at the bottom of the pitcher, it's sediment. So it's pretty much what the same thing is in wine. So it might be grape skins, it might be bits of fruit, it may just be the insides of the barrel. It could be a bunch of different things, but they settle at the bottom. It also could be lees, but we'll talk about LEES, and we're going to talk about that later because this one doesn't have lees. But that would be what sediment is. So you're going to look and see if it's sediment in the glass. The second thing you're going to do, you're going to swirl, and then you're going to sniff. You're going to try and pull off any notes that you may smell, and then you're going to sip it. You're going to sip, take a tiny bit, either swallow it or spit it out, and let it sit on your palate for a little bit. Reason why you're doing that, remember, is so you can get that initial touch on your palate. And the one thing I always tell people is immediately, don't even think about it. Go right in and start naming off those notes that you're tasting. 9 times out of 10, you're right. But a lot of times, because we may be a little shy or we're not really sure about our palate, we don't want to say the wrong thing, we may kind of back off, and then only to find out later, like, oh, I was right. So never be ashamed or shy to say how you feel. If you feel like the wine has peaches or if it has pineapples, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be right. Okay? So you're going to spout off all of those notes that you're tasting, and then you're going to sit and decide. You're going to evaluate the wine. Do I like the wine? Would I recommend this wine? Did it meet my expectations or did it exceed my expectations? And also, would I buy this wine again? Another thing that you're doing, this is a pro tip, is you are looking for a finish in step 4. So the finish is what's left in your mouth after you've either sipped the wine and swallowed it or you spit it. So the finish is what lingers. And the length of the lingering is how we in the wine world describe the finish. So if you sip a wine and you swallow it and immediately you don't taste anything else, that would be a short finish. Sometimes it's indicative of a lower quality wine. And sometimes it's not. It just depends on the type of varietal. Then what you're looking for is, so a medium finish kind of just lingers for a little bit, maybe like a minute or two have gone by and you can still taste it in your mouth. Like this one, it's still here. And then number 3 is the long finish. So the long one is the one, it just keeps going. You may even start picking up other notes in your mouth. And that's what a long finish is. It's still there. It's still kind of working its way around your palate. You're still getting signals off to your brain for different flavors you're picking up. And so yesterday when I opened this wine, I felt like this wine had a long finish, because what I found myself doing, I took a sip, I put the wine glass down, and I was kind of just playing around on my phone, and I realized, oh, I haven't sipped in a minute. And I went back in, where normally you'll drink it, sip it, put it down, and then start going right back in. That's me. That's how I notice that I work when I'm tasting wine. So a long finish is what you really want a good wine to be, which is why, and we're going to talk about this further as well, this is why you don't want to buy lower tier wines. Life is too short to drink bad wine, guys. You might as well just go for it, get you a good quality bottle and call it a day. Okay. So, what are my questions? Who is the Gavi producer? Good question. So, this Gavi wine is produced by a vineyard called Villa Sparina. It's from the Piedmont, Italy. It's a region in Italy called Piedmont. So, Piedmont is in northern Italy. They're known for their very high quality cuisine. So, if I ever put a trip together for Piedmont, bring your stretchy pants, gal, because we are going to eat like crazy. They have amazing food. The landscape is beautiful. And of course, they make really good wine as well. So the Gavi, it's the Cortese de Gavi. Sorry, I wanted to get that right. That's the official full name of the varietal, but for short, you can just call it Gavi, Gavi. Someone says they're sipping Merlot. Great show, sis. Thank you, baby. I don't know who you are because Facebook doesn't show me your name using my software, but you are sipping a Merlot. That's pretty ambitious for summertime. I can't drink heavy reds, full body reds like that in the summer. It's just too hot and I would be so drunk. I'm telling you. Pinot Noir even does it to me. I can't drink it and sit in the sun. So yes, so yeah, guys, that is all I have for you as far as your tasting techniques and your tips. Oh, I forgot one. What do you do with wine that you don't want anymore? You cook with it. Okay. You can make sangria with it. I know that there is a school of thought out here that says you don't use lower tier wines or wines that you don't like to make sangria. I say don't waste it. Go ahead and make sangria. I blend it with fruit. I might make like boozy popsicles with it. So you can just take the bottle. If it's a white wine, I would blend maybe like peaches, white raspberry. I would do a couple herbs. I might throw a basil leaf in there. For peach, I like sage. For strawberry, I like basil. For pineapple, I like pineapple and thyme for some reason. Pineapple and basil is good as well. So you can take some pineapple, some basil, or some thyme, throw it in the blender, dump your bottle of white wine in there. Here's another tip. When I make like sangria and stuff, I do a little sparkle. So if I have a leftover sparkling wine, or if I have like a can of 7-Up or Sprite or ginger ale, I'll put that in there at the end. So blend all of that first and then open it up, dump a little bit of the pop or soda. I'm from Chicago, so we say pop. Put a little bit of soda in there, blend it really fast, and then pour it out into individual ice cubes, or you can use the popsicle molds. I never let wine go to waste unless I really don't like it. I put it in chili, red wine. I use red wine in my chili. I use red wine in my marinara sauce, my spaghetti sauce, my meat sauce for like lasagna, pasta. If I'm doing a ragu with rigatoni, I'll put red wine in there. If you're going to do a scampi, you can use white wine. It's just it goes on and on and on and on. But remember, you can always blend it with fruit, freeze it, and you can just put it, use the cubes, put it in a glass, pour some Prosecco or some cava or sparkling wine on top. And there you go. Or you can just dump another can of lemon lime soda or some ginger ale in there. And you got a perfect little summertime drink. And it's going to stay cold because of the ice cubes that you have. All right. My Cash App is, I'm taking all tips tonight. I'm just kidding. But I hope you guys get some really good tips out of there. I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable with your wine tasting. I'm still looking at comments. If you guys have comments, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. And even when we go off air, if you have questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll get to them. But I hope you guys enjoyed my quick little tips. Remember, wine is completely approachable. You can use these techniques for spirits as well. We do the same thing with spirits. Don't let it intimidate you. It's so easy. And wine tasting is so much fun. If it ain't fun, then what's the point in doing it, right? So don't let it intimidate you. Remember those 4 tips, and then you'll be on your way to a good palate, development, a professional at the wine tastings, you'll be on your way, guys. Okay? All right. Well, I had a great time. I hope you guys had a good time as well. As always, drink responsibly. And as a nurse, I have to say this: if you feel like you have a problem or if you may have a potential addiction to alcohol, there are contacts and there are people that can help you. Please reach out to me. Feel free to inbox me for any information. I promise it's confidential. I would never tell a soul if you needed the help. There's no shame in ever reaching out for help. But as always, I'm asking you to drink responsibly. I did not get sponsored for this show. I have to say that. And then I also just want you guys to remember emails as well. So drop me those emails. You can put them in the comments. You can drop them in my inbox if you want to. If you want to join my email list. So a couple things we have coming up. We don't have any trips or any events scheduled for 2020. I have one trip that's hanging in there, and I'm not accepting any more bookings on it because I'm not really sure I'm going to keep it. But for 21, we're going to be back out in these streets, God willing. So drop me your email address. You'll get your monthly email, monthly newsletter from me. I email you guys just to kind of give you some quick tips, introducing you to the brand. My blog is coming out soon. I'm redesigning my webpage to give you a better experience when you log on to www.seekandsip.com. And also, I have another little surprise coming up, but I don't want to say it just yet. But just know it's going to be good. So please like my pages, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Please share this page, this group with your family and friends who also are interested in becoming stronger wine tasters, or they just want to have a better understanding of wine. This is the group you want to be in. Trust me. We have a lot of great people that come in. I'm always willing to share my knowledge as well. So I hope you guys had a great time. You can find me at Facebook, on IG at Seek and Sip Travel. The tasting group is Seek and Sip Travel Tasting Room. You can find me at Seek and Sip Travel on YouTube and IG. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. As always, love on yourself and love on somebody else. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Bye.